Hello, welcome back or welcome to my channel. Today we are talking about launching an online business. If you watched the previous two videos, you may have a business idea in mind. You might even have a lead magnet created or at least ideated. But what do you do when it's time to start telling the world about your new online business, your course, your product, your coaching service, your full service, marketing company, or some other type of company? Let's talk about that today. Well, first thing I want to tell you is I do have a new podcast up if you want to tune into that, which goes into pretty heavy detail about my new program that I am launching today on Cyber Week, Black Friday through Cyber Monday. So you can tune into that by searching for the Freelance Friday podcast. I'll talk about it a little bit more at the end of the episode as well. It's a deal you don't want to miss, just believe me. But in short, the program is going to take you through this entire launch process step by step with accountability, group supports, and my expertise helping you through it. So tune in, I'll link it down below, of course. But let's hop in first to the first thing you're gonna wanna do when you are planning out your launch. You're first gonna wanna determine what your launch activity is going to be, or your key launch activity. Now, something else I wanna say before we hop in is a launch is never really final. You can always add to it as long as you are still within that open cart period. You can do multiple different things and see how different tactics or different activities perform for you. But you do want to start with a little bit of a plan. Makes things go a little bit easier in my experience. So figure out what that key activity is going to be. An example of a launch activity might be a challenge, might be some type of a webinar or live sales experience, an online summit or experience of some kind. So figure out what that is going to be. And what I would recommend doing is surveying your audience, doing some audience research, figuring out what they tend to respond to best. I know because I've done several webinars in the past, I kind of know at what price point those are effective and at what price point they're really not worth my time. So, do some experimentation before you're ready to launch to get a good gauge on what your audience is likely to respond to. Now, you also want to pay attention to what you're good at and what you like to do. I personally have no problem hopping on video. I feel like very comfortable on video. Some people hate video. They would rather do a podcast or they would rather write emails or something like that. So figure out also what you're good at and what you're most comfortable at, because you have to be comfortable with this stuff. When you're launching, you are selling, it can be uncomfortable. I know I don't like to feel salesy or pushy or annoying to people. So if I am doing it in a format that doesn't work for me, I'm gonna feel even more so that way. Next, you wanna look at your tech stack, your tech needs for that launch activity, and figure out all the operational stuff for actual launch day and selling and making sure that you can accept money for whatever it is that you're offering. Now, if you're using a course platform like Thinkific, they allow you to pre-sell and they really help you through a lot of the launch process. In my experience, things are pretty seamless with a tool like that. But if you are going to be selling something just directly from your website, or if you are going to be launching something like a coaching service, for example, where you're going to actually be physically delivering the service that people are paying for, you're going to need to configure some of that stuff on your own. Now, if your online business is a service-based business, whether it's coaching or something like marketing or design, I really recommend HoneyBook. Having a client management system is going to save you so much time because you can build out workflows and store documents, enable people to pay invoices and sign contracts. So I definitely recommend using something like that if you are providing services. I'll link a video up here that goes way more in depth on HoneyBook for service providers. I'll also link it down in the description box as a resource for you. But if you're not offering services, you want to really analyze your platform that you're using to sell your digital product or download or ebook or whatever it might be to see what they offer in terms of tech support. At minimum, for any launch, you're gonna probably need these two things. You're gonna need a landing page, AKA a website where people can go to learn more about what it is that you're offering. Maybe you have a video embedded there, maybe you have some testimonials, and you're gonna need some type of an email platform. You're gonna need to be able to email people who opt in to some kind of email list. At the very least, you're gonna wanna send maybe a thank you email or a welcome email to people who have signed up and purchased. So those are two things that like anybody is going to need. So figure out what your sales platform offers. If you're doing a course or digital product on a platform like Thinkific, you can build landing pages there and really customize those how you like them. If it is, again, a service and you're using a honeybook, you can create a brochure to send out to people, but you may still need an external landing page. There are a ton of different tools out there for landing pages. And my recommendation for them is really going to vary based on a lot of other factors in your business. For example, if you have a website already, it's probably in your best interest to just throw an unlisted page onto your website because you're already paying for that and you already know how to use it, so you can create a landing page that way. If you don't have anything yet, then maybe you do want to explore a ClickFunnels or an Entreport or some other landing page specific service. One of my favorite platforms for free landing pages, it's really easy to use, it's MailerLite. They enable you to put together sales pages or email opt-ins really easily, and you can use that service for free up to, I believe it is 2,000 contacts. So it is a pretty good value there. Same thing for MailChimp. All of these free email platforms have some limitations, but if you're just starting out and you just want to get this thing out into the world, check that out. For email, you all know, if you've been watching this series, that I love Flowdesk. I just truly think it is the best email platform that I have used. They have unlimited contacts at a pretty affordable rate, and I think their emails are really beautifully designed. They also have pre-made templates that are really easy to use, so I'll leave a link for Flowdesk down in the description box. Now, if you are going to launch with something like a webinar or a challenge, you're also going to need to figure out the tech of that, and it might get a little confusing. So take your time with this. Make sure to plan your launch well in advance. You don't want to just say, hey, I'm launching this Saturday, unless you have pretty low expectations for it. I'm generally planning my launches out about 90 days in advance, which might sound a bit intense, but it really enables me to think through all of the steps, make sure that all of my ducks are in a row. For example, with Zoom, if I'm doing a webinar, I might need to upgrade my plan for that month to have increased capacity from 100 attendees to 500 attendees. Or if you're on a free Zoom plan, you're gonna need to upgrade to enable the webinar feature. Little things like that can really create hiccups if you're not thinking them through properly. Okay. Next thing you're gonna wanna do to make this a success, add a bonus. Add a bonus to whatever it is that you're offering. And my recommendation for bonuses, you want them to do one of two things. You want to give people more time or more resources with you, or you want to save them money. Those tend to be the most appealing bonuses. If you are an online service provider like a coach or a consultant, this might be a bonus call for the first 10 people who sign up. Or maybe it is a free resource guide, a workbook full of all of your best resources. If it is a course or a digital product, maybe it's early access where they get a bonus week of live calls with you, or maybe it's a one-on-one call with you if they sign up by a certain date, or if they're one of the first 10 or 20 to sign up. Or of course, you can always go the flash sale or sort of the discount route. Getting people to purchase at a special rate during a specific period of time really adds that sense of urgency to your offer and encourages people to sign up. An example of this, maybe you host a webinar for your new online course that you're launching, and you allow people to enroll in the course for 50% off only if they sign up while that webinar is playing. So they have an hour or an hour and a half to get signed up. Creating a deep discount like that can really light the fire under people and take away some of those objections. Now, of course, I don't recommend relying solely on price discounts because that can just become a race to the bottom. But it can be a fun way to incentivize early adopters to your program, which can have sort of a domino effect, especially if they are telling their friends, if they're posting on Instagram about it, if they're getting really excited about that new experience. It can kind of get people to want to follow their lead. After that, you're going to want to write your sales copy. Once you have the offer fully nailed down, including your bonus, once you're sure that you can actually pull off what you are attempting to do with your tech stack, you want to go ahead and start filling in that landing page, filling in those email campaigns that you have set up with sales copy. Now, if you're not a natural writer, which I am and I'm not at the same time, I think I'm a pretty good writer, but it takes me a really long time, outsource it. There are a ton of people who do a really good job at sales copy, and this is their full-time job. So if that is an expense that you need to take on, believe me, copywriting is something I've pretty much never regretted paying for. It always ends up paying for itself. But if you are a writer and you're gonna go ahead and tackle it yourself, make sure that you really take your potential customers through that transformation that you're looking to offer them. You don't just wanna say, hey, this is a course with XYZ. You want to say, this course is going to help you become. It's going to take you from A to B, or A to Z, however it is that you want to phrase that. You don't just want to list off a bunch of features that you're gonna provide. You want to really talk about the internal change, that transformation that people are going to go through. And sometimes people think this is only possible for coaching services or courses, but that is just not true. It's also true for services. If I'm a social media manager, I'm not launching a business just to post social media content for people. I want to help CEOs take control of their calendar and their time and do the heavy lifting that ends up resulting in more revenue for their company. That's much more appealing than just, I'll create Instagram posts for you, right? You also want to play into that urgency, but my recommendation is to do this ethically, right? There's a difference between lying about having limited seats in a program or lying about doors closing soon and it actually being a real thing. So you want to be honest. If there are limited seats, definitely call that out. If doors are only going to be open for 2 weeks, call that out. If this special pricing is only going to last for a few weeks, absolutely call that out, but don't say that just to get people into the door. They'll see through that. They'll realize, hey, it's 6 weeks later and the doors are still open and I think I kind of got. So be careful about that one. The last thing, and truth be told, this is kind of actually the first step. You need to understand the audience that you have now. You want to understand where your current audience is in your sales funnel. So have you developed an email list of people, going back to the last episode in this series, talking about lead magnets and sales funnels? Do you have a lot of emails in your list as it is based on that lead magnet? If so, are they actually qualified? Are they actually the types of people who might want to actually purchase whatever it is that you are going to offer? Or do you only have a couple of emails in your list and you're kind of starting from scratch? It's really important to understand this because this is going to help you decide on how long this sales process needs to be. If you are bursting at the seams and you have 10,000 emails and they are all like emailing you, being super engaged with your emails, your open rates are high, you're probably good to do a 30-day launch or something maybe even shorter. Maybe you do a week-long doors open period. But if you're pretty much starting from scratch, you're probably gonna wanna do a longer launch. Maybe you offer a couple of freebies in there just to start to build up that email list. Maybe you need to cast a wider net and you need to get yourself on some podcasts. You need to send out some PR pitches. You need to create some more content for your own existing channels so that you get more people into that awareness stage of your sales funnel. Maybe you need to run some paid ads to your lead magnet and get people to actually download that lead magnet, engage with you a little bit, and build up your list that way. And if all of those things still aren't working, maybe you need to try a different lead magnet or a different delivery style to make sure that you're actually reaching qualified people. So those are my tips for planning out a launch. There are a lot of steps that go into it. That's just kind of scratching the surface. I am really excited to be launching the Online Business Launch Lab today, which is 1 part instructional course, 1 part group coaching experience, and 1 part lab, where you actually do the work. You set up all of these systems, the ideation, the packaging, the pricing of your service or digital product, and you actually implement all the way up until the point where you are ready to launch. This is something that I have been dreaming up for years now, and at a super discounted rate for Cyber Week only. I'm gonna leave the link down below. I'll also leave the podcast where I go in depth about what exactly this program is, what success students from similar accelerator format courses have already seen, and what the special offer is just for this week only. We are going to be closing the doors in early December, I believe. So if you're watching this a little bit late and you missed out on the big bonus, you can still enroll. I'll leave all those details down below. But I hope this video in this series was helpful. Either way, if it was, please be sure to leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought and subscribe. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And actually, December is coming up here and I'm gonna be participating in Vlogmas. I call it Bizmas. So I'll be posting content not only on YouTube, but also on TikTok and Instagram. So you can follow me at the Latasha James for more on that. And I hope you enjoyed. I will see you on Monday. Have a great one. Bye.